this is David B69. Welcome to today's video. Please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button as well, and hit the notification bell for future videos. Let's get on to the show. The Commodore 64. One of my favorite consoles of all time. It's not truly a console. I mean, yeah, it did have a cartridge slot up top, but generally it hooked up through the 1541 disk drives and stuff. And it's basically how it was used for a gaming console. I think I had one cartridge. It was International Soccer, and everything else was disc-based. But this is one, and my first actual gaming computer that I got in, I think it was 1984 or 83. It was one of those 2 years. They kind of blend together. I think it was 84. But it was a huge year for me because there was so many great games on this. And in 85, it's like the NES came out, and I already had an Atari 2600, but to me, I had Atari 2600 games, but it was like, that was a console between me and my brother, and it's like, I generally have a love for that console, but it's not like a replayability love. It's not like something that I'm dying to go back and play those games. Trust me, I went back a little while ago, probably a year or two ago, and I've played those Atari 2600 games. The only thing that made me think of was, man, these games are old. I really don't want to ever play them again. That was the only feeling I got out of some of those games. And a lot of those games I can play with the Atari 50th Anniversary Collection, or I can play with like in some other means that I don't lose anything with. So that brings up the Atari and the Commodore 64. Now a lot of those discs and stuff are rotted and they don't read anymore. So you get a problem with that. Well, how am I supposed to play said games? And it's like some of my favorite games of all time have still not been released. Raid Over Moscow was one of my top favorite games on the Commodore 64. Pool of Radiance was also on the Commodore 64. I absolutely love that game. Now it's available on the NES, but it was a different feel and look and stuff to the game. I'd rather have the actual more authentic look from the Commodore 64. Now, it was also on the PC and everything, and the PC is probably like the ultimate way of playing that game. But I don't have that. And you used to have to use those code wheels and other things to unlock and do those games each time. And it's like, which also comes to another game that comes to mind. And it's probably like my favorite basketball game of all time. And that is OmniPlay Basketball. People don't realize how much OmniPlay Basketball truly reinvented itself with just having 4 statistical categories for each character. You have a roster and you're building up a roster, and they have a speed setting, a shooting setting, I think that might have been a block setting, and there was some other stamina, I think. But it's like, those are your like things, and they went 0 to 9. And you basically had your age of the character as well. And so once that character went through its 9 years, or 10 years, basically, it basically was over. And you're basically getting a new character. And that guy is going fresh, and he's going to be horrible. And you basically can play these games and mix and match, and you're playing, and it was so much fun. And it's like, I think there was like a total of 16 teams all together, and you play, you make the playoffs, and like you do this every single year. And me and my friend Steve used to play this all the time, where we trade the disc, where we had the save data on PC, and we saved it and went back and forth. But it was my first love for the game was on the Commodore 64. So at one point, I'm hoping and dreaming that it will become to what I have here today, which is an unboxing. Yes, I have an unboxing, and it's from Amazon. So it's there, but I first want to show what I've already previously gotten from them and stuff in the past that basically started drawing up and basically made this love so well. And that is the Commodore 64 collection for evercade. Now, evercade is a great system. It's nice cartridge based, so you can just like put in your cartridge and play these games. And it's like so good. It has summer games, winter games, Impossible Mission, Gateway to Apsai, Lee, Jumpman, Movie Monster Game, which is a tremendous game, Marauder, Stormlord, Subterranea, Battle Valley, Icarus Alpha, Alley Cat, and Street Sports Baseball, which was like tremendous baseball game on the Commodore 64. And it like, they really play well on evercade. So what I got here, if you kind of can read into it and you follow evercade, you would know what it is inside this envelope. So let's just get right into it. Our first one out of the bag is the Commodore 64 Select Collection number 2. And that includes California Games, Street Sports Basketball, Slayer. I've never heard of Slayer. World Games, Uridium, never heard of that. Zamzara, never heard of that. Impossible Mission 2, great game. Cybernoid, never heard. Insects in Space, definitely not. Pit Stop 2. Oh, that is such a great sport game. I love that game. Nebulous, I think I've heard of that before. Mission Impossible. Yeah, that's what it says. Sword of Fargul and Firelord. Yeah, it's kind of wild. Yeah. So this is what the back of the box is, and it's like, yeah, I'm like really tremendously excited about this, to play these games. So yeah, it's like really, really cool. So there's another 14 of my youth playing the Commodore 64, and we have one more thing in here, and that is number 3 for the evercade, and that includes Summer Games 2. Yes, now it was not just Summer Games. We had Summer Games 1 before. Now we have Summer Games 2. We have Jumpman Jr., Anarchy, Boulder Dash, Cyberdyne Warrior, Exelon, Heavy Metal Paranoid, Cybernoid 2, The Revenge, Street Sports Soccer, definitely a fun game. Not the best game and everything in the whole world in the Street Sports series, but it's a fun game. Where was I? Super Cycle, really fun game. Deliverance, Stormlord 2, Netherworld, and Breakdance. Yeah. Now, to me, this is like really actually tough. Which one would be the cooler one? The basketball game was tremendous, and having California Games and World Games on here. But Summer Games 2, arguably, would be the best of all time, game-wise. I mean, I would almost say Summer Games 2, it could have been on this thing by itself, and it's worth it. Wow. Definitely hard to say. And I do like that they have it where on the back of the case, not sure if it was on this one. Yeah, it does have it. Where it basically shows you what consoles it works on. Right here, it's like there's several models now. One of them basically uses the controller like this, which is the actual console version, which is the Versus. And then they have the regular handheld unit. So which the handheld unit is the, that would be the evercade. Is that the evercade original? Or would this would be the Versus? I thought Versus would be Versus. I don't know. It's been a long time. But I do look forward to popping these games in and playing and having some fun with it. Which one? And I'm trying to like compare it to the first one as well. I mean, it's hard to say because summer games and winter games and the Gateway to Apsai game and the Street Sports Baseball make the first one like really tremendous to me. But guys, get OmniPlay Basketball. Put OmniPlay Basketball. Make another collection. Include OmniPlay Basketball, please. I mean, there's OmniPlay Horse Racing too. You could put all that and put this on here, and it would be incredible. So anyway, that's all I have for you today. Just basically wanted to give a shout out to my youth, my past, because that's what retro games are. These are new, but it basically points to the retro gaming of my past. And I'm doing this without doing any kind of special modding, without kind of doing any kind of other thing to keep the past alive in the present, which is what I love about these games. They keeping the past alive now. So that's what I enjoy about them. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Until next time, this is David B69 saying peace. I'm out.